Nvidia GTX 1660 Ti. Quite an older card, pushing for the 5th year or something like that, if I'm not wrong. I bought it when it was brand new, and I've been using it since, and as you see right here, it is dusty and dirty, and I've done so many experiments running things that sometimes is not supposed to run, and today we're gonna review it. But before, let me just clean it with some pixie dust on it, and you'll see here right in a moment that this card will be poof, clean just like that. And you see, now it is shining. Yes, this card has 6 gigs of memory only, that's all. And it's a GDDR6 dual fan. It has 4 ports, 3 display ports, 1 HDMI, and pretty much in the output, there is not more to talk about it. This card just works so perfect, especially for budget gaming, video editing, and all that stuff. This card does just perfectly well. And here we are inside the GTA 5, and everything else is quite very high details and all that stuff, motion blur. Let's do some in-game stuff here. We're maintaining a 60 frames per second so far. Let's go for a spin and see how it performs. Okay, and as you see, it actually runs and drives pretty good. We are going without dropping a single frame so far, as you see, and the card itself is at 47% usage, even though with quite high details and all that stuff. We are going at 156 degrees heat, which that's not the best thing you want to see in your card, but this card usually, actually I've noticed it running quite high. And now let me add some textures here to the city. Right here, we're going to weather options, and let's add rain. Okay, because rain sometimes for some reason makes some of these cards have a second thought about it. And as you see, I'm just driving no problem. Boom, it's working really good, really smooth. At least here on my side, I see it very smooth. So what if we get an airplane, for example, and try it that way? Let me put the car back here, and as you see, the reflections are not the worst. We're not talking an RTX here or something crazy. So let's grab an airplane real quick. Okay, well, let's get in the plane and see if the game performs, because now we're adding more items and particles and all that stuff. As you see here, let's start flying. Okay, it's actually working pretty good. As you see, I may not be the best pilot here, but the card is maintaining itself at 60 the entire time, as you see right here. And we go up and down a little bit quick with the textures if it loads everything. And as you see, everything loads quite fast. Most of the textures are... Now, the water splashing may not be the most accurate you ever seen. As you see, even when we hit, it may not be super accurate, as I've seen some guys try them on RTX. I don't have an RTX, so when I get rich, I'll let you know how it looks on RTX. For now, you can go watch those videos of rich people playing an RTX. But yeah, as you see, it maintains the 60 frames per second the entire time. And now let's get out of here and fire up a game that actually quite more demanding than this. Now we're inside Need for Speed Heat, and this game is way much more demanding than GTA 5. And as you see, the GPU load is at 97%. But the frame rate is at over 70 frames per second. And that is quite high. For a $200 card, I would say this is a clear winner. And it's worth every single penny, as you see. And we don't have any more nitro, looks like. And yes, this card is actually pulling its weight without a single problem so far. As you see, the level of detail is at its highest. for this game, and the card is just going like a champ. Not a single problem at all. And now I'm gonna try to reach a little bit higher. I'm gonna do some free run, because that's gonna really test it, because I am in control now. And as you see, we're reaching up to 97% usage of the card, and that is quite high. And yes, I am still running it on max. On max details on the settings of the game. So there is nothing spared, and that is why now the card is jumping at 96%, and the temperature is almost 170. But it's, as you see right there, at over 85 frames per second for the most part. And that is amazing for a card of this age and that price in this game. This is great. I mean, come on, you have cards that are much more expensive than this one, and by now you would have seen probably a glitch or two, and this card just refuses to give up, and that to me means a lot. And go through different textures just to really stress the card to whatever it has to give us. And as you see, it's actually pulling its weight. And this looks like a 69 Mustang, if I'm not wrong. I didn't actually notice if they put the name of it when I selected the car, but you can just assume looks like, yeah, I think it's a 69 Fastback, looks like. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about the car model. I'm just assuming this part here. And as you see, we're going through the city and 96%. But we're over 85 for the most part frames per second. And for this card, the price and all that stuff, I'm surprised. I'm extremely surprised. Yes, now the temperature is staying high, but this card is gonna stay high anyway because it's only 6 gigs of VRAM on it. It's not something crazy, and I myself would suggest if you are in a budget, you have only 200 bucks, but you want kind of a gaming GPU, 1660 Ti would do you pretty good. Now, let's close this game, and we're gonna open up Forza Horizon 5, and yes, as you notice a trend here, when I game mostly, I'm either open world games or racing games. Anything that has a car in it, I like it. If it doesn't have a car and doesn't have an open world, nah, I might opt out from those kind of games. I like them. It's my personal preference, I guess. And here we are inside Forza Horizon 5. Not knowing what we're doing, but I'm gonna try to just run it through the radar. And as you see, the frame rate is 60, which is the max here. Usage 57, and yes, 151 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is working pretty good actually. And as you see, the card is actually holding really good. And Forza Horizon is not exactly an easy game, even for some more expensive cards than this one. And for this card to pull off this stuff, that's pretty good. And yes, I actually play this game because I like it, and I am not the best gamer you ever seen. That is just a fact of life. But as you see, I have zero problems working and playing with this card. And by the way, this car actually can drive 210. That's a few miles. And of course I'm gonna probably hit something very soon, but for now the car is going really good. And you see the card stats, the GPU stats on the top left of the screen are holding really good. And this one actually tests the card pretty good because we have the motion blur, the texture, the scene change, and all that stuff going at once, which really stresses the card. So if I get a blue screen of death, I would not be very surprised, because we are really going a little bit too far right now. And the card, as you see, is showing not a single problem, only 60% on the usage side, and I can't be happier than that. It's really working good. As you see, we are still going over 200 miles per hour, which on a real life, do not attempt this one. This is only in games, and these kind of speeds should stay in games. And so as far as this card goes, I'm not gonna go to the whole thing with the fancy stuff, doing the benchmark score test and all that. To me, it matters this test. The real world test, which is usage, gaming, video editing, and all that. And yes, not exactly fast, but this card can export 4K videos. It will be slow, I gotta tell you that, versus 1080p, but you can do 4K with this card if you have the patience to wait for the export to finish. It does it. And yes, this is on a kind of low-end cards. It's not really any high-end card or anything fancy. It's just a regular, good old 1660 Ti, and it's pushing towards its 5th year of age right now, if I'm not wrong. And I'm very happy with it. And as a last test, we're gonna try Flight Simulator, because after very fast cars, my other thing that I really like a lot is airplanes. And let's go somewhere in Australia, since I have no idea what else to do here. Set as departure, and we're not gonna do the whole thing, but I'm just gonna try a quick flight, since Flight Simulator is quite high demanding, and we'll see how this card does with Flight Simulator. The loading time is actually pretty good for this card, and if you know anything about Flight Simulator, you know that it will make your computer breathe quite heavy. Okay, parking brake is disengaged. Let's get some throttle going on, and fuel control I'm gonna leave off. Flaps are in takeoff mode, and as you see here, we are in flight, and everything's looking pretty good actually. So airspeed is a little bit too high. Okay, I'm just gonna let it relax a little bit. I don't have my joystick here to do real controls like I usually do, but we are only doing this to test the GPU and not to test my ability to fly an airplane. And in my opinion, this card really does better than $200. Your opinion may vary from this one and might differ, and I'm okay with that. Leave it on the comments below what you think about this card. Is it really worth the around $200 price, and do you think it's still relevant and worth it in 2023? Which, if I'm not wrong again, this card was released in 2019, and it's pushing for its 5th year now. And as you see, even Flight Simulator, which really demands a lot, is actually working good. Even though, yes, the GPU usage is at 97%, which is quite high, but hey, it's working, and that's what matters right here. And with that said, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I don't really have much more to say, because any more words would be worthless when it comes to this GPU. The rest, I thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and whatnot, so it makes me happy and makes this channel do something better. Bye!